What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. I want to start out this video by saying a huge thank you to Will Norvell for sending out and making some amazing knives. I will leave his information and his website in the very top of the description so you guys can check out all the custom handmade knives and cutlery, everything that he does. He does a great job. But this hunt was something special. It was a cat and mouse kind of hunt once again, similar to the Fallow Hunt. We had some Blackbuck come in, and they came in almost first, like right off the bat. They're feeding in front of us, we're getting ready to shoot, and there starts to be axis pouring in. Well, axis are very, very skittish animals because of where they originate from. Their main predators are Bengal tigers, so of course they're very spooky. That's just in their blood, that's in their nature. And so these axis step out, they look at us, they can see us in the blind, or they can catch our wind or something. They can tell something's not right, so the axis bust out of there, and of course everything else goes with them. Now, we're kind of discouraged, but we set it for, I don't know, probably another 45 minutes or so, and it was still early on in the hunt. So it's getting closer to 5 o'clock, and we see the Blackbuck starting to come back in, which we started to get excited, we started to get pumped. Well, they feed down to us, and again, we get ready to put another shot on them. Now, there's a lot of animals around and in the way and behind these Blackbuck, and they were kind of at that max distance that I was going to let my mom shoot. And so, again, we were just waiting for the right shot, for the right time, just like we did with the Hogs. So we were waiting and waiting and waiting, and then the Aoudad get real close to the blind. I guess they had caught our wind or something else had spooked. I'm not 100% positive, but everything took off running again. So once again, for the third time, or for the second time, we're sitting there just kind of hanging our heads like, man, you know, we wanted to shoot one of those really nice Blackbuck, and it was right there. You know, we just had the opportunity. It was so close, but we just couldn't seal the deal. 15 minutes go by. Mom looks up and she's like, "You have got to be kidding me." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Look, right there in the middle of all those Aoudad, there's a Blackbuck standing there." So I look up, and of course, there's one random Blackbuck all by himself standing in the middle of Aoudad like he's one of them. So we're like, alright, well, let's get ready to take a shot. So I start flipping cameras on and recording, and again, it was just back and forth, cat and mouse. She would have a shot and an opportunity for about 3 or 4 seconds, and she would get back to full draw, and then something would step behind the Blackbuck, or something would step in front of it, or the Blackbuck would turn and face us head on or face away. It was difficult to get a shot off when there's that many animals around. Now, we practice out here in the backyard all the time, and as you guys can tell, right there is a couple of the targets. My mom has been bow hunting for, I guess, or actually shooting a bow for 2 months now, at most. It's something that she's really wanted to get into after seeing me do it for so many years. And I showed you guys the range because there's obviously just a few targets there. And when you're standing here practicing in the backyard, you're not used to other obstacles being in the way. So that was something new for her that she had to overcome on the spot. And for me, I've been doing it long enough now that I can pull back at full draw and stay there and know right when I can take a shot and right when I can't. Her, on the other hand, still being new to the whole bow hunting game, she knew whenever she could take shots and when she couldn't, but she was just overthinking a little bit. So this one lone Blackbuck is standing there in the middle of the group, and I had told her, I said, when you're comfortable, go ahead and take the shot. So finally, we get some animals cleared out of the way, and the Blackbuck was kind of right there at her max distance, and I wasn't going to let her shoot any further than that. She was confident in her ability to shoot at that distance, and I was confident in her ability to shoot at that distance as well. But she draws back, and she takes the shot. It was far back, and immediately she's upset, and I thought she was going to cry almost, but it is what it is. Bow hunting, especially for me, whenever I first started out, I gut shot animals. Everyone does. And it happens to many people very often, depending on how much you practice or how much experience you have. And even like 8 months ago, I gut shot a hog. I shot a hog at 50 yards. She jumped the string, and the hog heard the arrow coming through the air is what had happened. She jumped way forward, arrow hit her in the guts, and she ran off and died. Luckily, because I hit the femoral artery, she died within, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 minutes. It was a very quick death. But, again, yeah, you guys saw that video. I shot 4 hogs that night. I'm not saying I'm the best, but it happens to everybody. It happens to the best of us. With her being a fairly new bow hunter, I knew that it was kind of going to be a high stress situation for her, and she did very, very well, and I'm very proud of her for the way that she handled that entire situation. We both knew that the shot was a little bit far back, and then shortly after that, my fallow buck stepped out, and I shot him. If you guys missed that episode, I will leave it linked in the description below, and you guys can check that one out and watch it and tell me what you think. What I began to tell my mom, and as I mentioned in the previous video, and also on my Instagram, I mentioned that it was a learning experience. I mean, and it really was, and I want to share that with you guys, because this is a big part of what my channel is. I want to teach you guys everything that I know about hunting, just tips in general. Well, I told my mom, I said, hey, it's going to be okay. There's a creek back in the direction where that black buck ran off to. When animals are gut shot, they begin to run a fever. They get really hot, so they go find water. And I would say probably 95% of the time, if they don't die on their way to the water, depending on what arteries you hit or what size broadhead that you shoot or bullet or whatever the case may be, you will find gut shot animals near water almost every single time. And I have seen that true in so many different situations. I've gut shot plenty of animals in my 8 years of bow hunting, and it happens. It really does, and that's unfortunate, but that's part of hunting. Whether that be with a bow, a gun, a spear. I mean, it doesn't matter. People gut shoot animals all the time, and while that's not the way that you want it to go, obviously that's not how my mom wanted it to go, that's what ended up happening. Now, I was very fortunate to be hunting at the real McCoy Ranch at this particular experience and this particular opportunity, and I was hunting with a great group of guys and my mom as well, as you guys know, obviously. But Jerry down there at the real McCoy Ranch, I will leave his information down in the description below with the price list, and you guys can message me on any social media and contact me about setting up a hunt. It's an amazing place. I really, really, really enjoy every single hunt and experience that I've had at the real McCoy. With that being said, moving forward, this is how it translates, is Jerry has hunted all over the world, and he now has people come hunt with him, and he gets to be the guide, and he really enjoys that. But with that being said, his knowledge and experience of backcountry hunting and basically all different types of hunting from all over the world, he has some incredible knowledge. So he knew the exact same thing that I did, and he told all of us, because Dylan was there and Rhett was there, and Brennan, of course, and my mom and myself. He told all of us the same thing that I told my mom. He said, you know, we're gonna go in and we're gonna move very slowly. Jerry said, I think I have an idea of where this black buck is bedded down at. And so we went back to camp after I shot my fallow, and we ate dinner, we unloaded the fallow, we took pictures and everything, gave this black buck plenty of time to bed down and hopefully die. Now, we come back from dinner and we begin our search after dark. Jerry and I, my mom, Dylan, Rhett, and Brennan, we all grab flashlights and we start covering the portion of the ranch, and there was a creek that ran through there, and we didn't go in 30 yards, and Jerry says, there he is, he's bedded down right there, he's still alive. So I was shooting my mom's bow. I had it in my hand. I should have brought mine, first of all, and in hindsight, we should have just taken the rifle on the front of the buggy, shot the animal in the head, and put it out and been done with it. In the heat of the moment, everybody makes mistakes, and I will own up to that one. We should have just taken the rifle and been done with it. But anyway, Jerry and I move together. We go in, and I take a shot on this black buck, and I miss. So the black buck gets up and wanders off. Now, I know that I shouldn't make excuses, but I'm going to make excuses for missing. Number one, it wasn't my bow, and number two, it was dark, and somebody else was holding the light for me. I'm generally used to having my own light on my bow. Of course, the draw length is obviously way different between myself on my bow and my mom on her bow. So peeps are also different, and so I missed. Flat out, I missed. And we let the black buck walk off, and that's exactly what he did. He stood up and walked off, and we could tell he was definitely hurting. And we backed out, gave him some time, and then Jerry and I just went together. We left everybody behind because we didn't want to get too many people in there, and trying to get near him. That can kind of become a dangerous situation when other people are holding firearms or bows, people shooting in different directions. Now, we always communicate very well whenever we are in the thick woods looking for an injured animal. However, we had a very good idea of where this black buck had gone. So Jerry and I pursue. It was just him and I together. We go after the black buck. We find him a second time. Shoot him, and this is what blew me away. Now, I was aiming for the back of this animal's head. I was going to put it right through the spine into the brain, and it was going to be an instant death. Put this animal out of its misery. So I let an arrow fly, and it's bedded down, of course, again, and it's bedded down right next to a dead tree, and there's a Y that comes up out of the tree like this. Well, all I can see is the black buck's head right on the other side of that, just in between the Y. So I draw back and I take aim. I make sure everything's right. I make sure the peep is good, and obviously my anchor point changes. I think I anchor like somewhere up here on the side of my jaw instead of back here with my bow. But I take aim, I let an arrow fly, and I hit this animal right in the back of the head. Now, in the process of drawing back and shooting, as soon as I shot, the black buck turned its head to look behind it to see what we were. When that happened, the arrow went in, hit the meat, and came out on the other side. So we spent the next 3 or 4 hours searching for this black buck. I mean, it was late into the night. We could never find him again. That black buck ran off with the arrow in the back of its head, and it was the obvious whack, and saw the lighted knock going through the woods, and we were very, very surprised that he had gotten up and moved on. He had walked off again. Now, we all regrouped after the shot, and we all went back in a third time because we had no idea where this black buck was at this point in time. We searched, like I said, for 3 or 4 more hours. It was a very long night. We back out, and we come back in the next morning. So we take off, and Jerry says, "I just have a feeling, I know that we walked right past this black buck last night in this specific area. I've got a really good idea of where he's at, and I just have a feeling that he's there." So we spent 10, 15 minutes searching, maybe 20 minutes searching, and boom, there he is, dead. And that's how we knew that the arrow had passed through the back of his head, and it was a really a cool experience, and what I'm about to show you guys. Now, that may sound kind of funny, but my mom was very, very, very upset, and that's obviously why I'm sitting here commentating all of this and narrating it, is because I didn't film very much because I was kind of sad about it as well. Nobody wants an animal to suffer, and to see her upset like that made me upset. And so it was kind of difficult for me, and I know for her as well. She was very, very upset. She was sick about it because she's been practicing so hard, and she just punched the trigger because she was afraid she was going to hit some other animals around the black buck, and that happens. It's target panic. I mean, that happens. So especially for new bow hunters, and even myself as well, sometimes I have to step out here on the range and shoot and make myself lose the target panic and practice. Well, here's where it gets really neat. So again, like I said, we had found it, but Jerry and I had started seeing piles of stomach matter, and we're following it, and boom, there lay the black buck. We drug him out of the woods, loaded him up in the buggy, and we could tell right away that the hide was still good. There was no slipping of the hair on the hide, and the joints and the legs, everything were still movable. He wasn't completely stiff, and the meat was still fairly warm, so we knew that he had died just recently. So all the meat was still harvested, used. It's actually in my freezer right now. The cape and the mount are still going to be able to go up on the wall, and it's going to be a beautiful mount. But I got this idea because I knew that it would take things from one end of the spectrum to the other. As we found the black buck, loaded it up in the buggy, and we decided we were going to drive back to camp, I had texted Mom and I said, hey, we didn't find the black buck. We're coming back to camp. We'll pack everything up and we'll get ready to hit the road and go back home. And so she was very, very upset. Well, these black buck are small enough that whenever we put it into the bed of the buggy, we could close the tailgate, and then of course we covered it with the cooler and boxes and stuff. Mom had stayed back at camp that morning. She didn't go help us look the next morning because she was kind of packing things up and getting ready to go. Well, I walk into the house and I get her, and she comes outside, and I said, we'll have to find your bow and your release, and we'll have to start getting things together and get ready to go home. And she follows me over to the buggy, and of course I'll let you guys see the rest.
Okay, yeah. And the good thing about it, if you were to finance 50 for 5 years, I just said nothing. It'll be a lot cheaper. The style is sweet. How about that? How about that, huh? How about that? Right here, in the middle.
Yeah, I had you fooled, didn't I?
Is he okay? Like,
yeah, he's still good to eat, and hide's still good and everything. Here.
I love you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I told you we would find it.
Okay, you gotta get him out.
Okay. We'll get him out. We'll get a bunch of pictures and stuff.
Okay.
Awesome. I'm glad that worked out the way that it did.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad we found it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So now, of course, it's nothing but all smiles and happiness, and to see her reaction was what made my weekend. Like, even over shooting a bucket list animal for myself, I wanted to shoot a fallow for a very long time. Like, seeing her reaction to the black buck and us finding it, and seeing her excitement is what made it so much fun for all of us. I mean, we were ecstatic. We were like, that makes our weekend right there. And it's cool to bring a group of people together, strangers actually. Dylan, I know Dylan, and I know Brennan, and I know Jerry, and of course my mother, but I'd never met Rhett. Rhett had never met me. He'd never met my mom. So a few people in camp were strangers to each other. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. And it was amazing to see how everybody came together, all 5 or 6 of us, and we're like, look, we're going to find this black buck, and that was just plain and simple. You know, we're going to find this black buck, and we're going to bring it home. And so we did. And as I move further into this whole YouTube thing, I see a lot of hunters that will comment on my videos and bash me or bash my friends that are in videos with me for doing what we do, whether it be hunting over corn or whether it be not stalking the right way, or just stupid things. People that call themselves hunters calling out other hunters is flat ridiculous. And so it really helped me to have some faith and some good people around me, because there's a lot of people out there that will talk crap about me and leave nasty comments about people in videos with me, and it's very disrespectful. But if you're a hunter and you're talking bad about other people hunting just because of their style or the way that they do it, that's not right. It's not right anyway, regardless of whether we're hunting or playing softball. Don't talk crap about somebody if you share similar interests. Don't talk crap about people anyway, regardless of the situation or the matter. So we all went in together. We all worked really hard together. We all helped load animals. We all helped in every way, form, and fashion. And this hunt came together, and it couldn't have been possible without everyone there. Everybody searching, everything like that. Like, it just made it for an enjoyable experience, and all hunters should be that way, regardless of whether you hunt the backcountry of Colorado, which I do, or you hunt the backcountry of Nebraska or Wyoming, or whether you hunt in Texas sitting over a corn feeder and a deer stand. It doesn't matter. We all have a similar goal, and we all share the same passion, whether it be rifle hunting or bow hunting. It doesn't matter. And that goal is to bring home real, delicious, bullcrap free from the meat market meat, put it in our freezers, and of course a lot of people hunt for the trophy as well. I'm not always that way. I'm a meat hunter just as much as I am a trophy hunter. And so I guess basically what I'm saying is we should all support each other regardless of the style or type of hunting that we're doing. With all that being said, we got the black buck hung up, skinned out, and all the meat in the cooler, and it's now, of course, in the freezer, processed, and in the freezer we have the hide and the skull ready to be mounted along with the fallow as well. And we had an incredible hunt. It was an experience and memories that I will never forget for the rest of my life. Just right here alone, but also in video form as well, which is so cool to me. And sometimes, you know, people make bad shots, and that's part of hunting, regardless of whether you're using a bow or a gun. But again, I just want to say another thank you to all of you for all the kind words that you left on the video of my mom's hog hunt. She was all smiles going back through all those comments and reading them, and everybody saying congratulations and great shot and everything like that. And so I really enjoy seeing y'all being so kind and loving and telling her congrats, and I would appreciate it, guys, if you did it again on this video. Even though it wasn't the best of shots, we busted our butts. We came together as a group of hunters and we found the animal. We harvested the meat, and the mount will now be taken to the taxidermist to be on the wall and a memory for years to come. So it was amazing, and just throw her some encouraging words down there, because I know that she's kind of not upset about it anymore. I mean, she's upset, and she's obviously very, very happy that we recovered the animal and we're able to use every bit of it. But now she's like, alright, I gotta get payback and I gotta go back out, I gotta hunt harder, and I have got to practice more and make better shots. And so that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about right there. And so I'm thankful that I have a platform and am able to share all these experiences and these hunts, and it's very it's so enjoyable. It's so much fun. And so I want to thank all of you again. So now I'm going to wrap this one up. It's kind of gotten a little bit long-winded, but I had to go through and do that with these series of videos. I mentioned in the very first video that I didn't film as much as I could have or should have, and the reason being for that is because I was really worried about coaching Mom up and making sure that she was good to go. And so like I said, the next time that her and I go out and hunt together, it will be way more in depth, I guess is a good way to put it. There will be a lot more video footage from the next time that we hunt together. So now that she's kind of started to learn a whole lot more, and she's been shooting more, and she's more comfortable shooting, in the last week or two since we've been home from this trip, she's really been after it and ready to go hunting again and be better and get better. Now I don't have to do as much coaching, so now I can do more filming, and you guys get it. But anyway, thank you so very much for watching. I love each and every one of you. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, notifications bell right there next to it so you guys get notified. Leave me a big old thumbs up, and again, leave some encouraging words down in the comments section below. We really appreciate it, and as hunters we should all try to keep each other's heads up and leave encouraging words regardless of the style of hunting that you're doing. All of you guys are amazing. Enjoy your Sunday with your family and friends. I love y'all, and I will see you tomorrow.